Speaking of RFK Jr. and his perceived negligible impact on the results of the election.
Tonight, I'm very pleased to welcome a man who has been an incredible champion for so many of these values that we all...
Oh, don't you copyright me. Oh, I did see this. The Foo Fighters didn't give permission for them to use this song, and they said they're going to sue and give the proceeds from the lawsuit to the Kamala Walls campaign.
And he deserves it. He deserves it.
They copied this from the DNC. They were saying USA.
For the past 16 months, Bobby has run an extraordinary campaign for President of the United States. I know, because he also went after me a couple of times. I didn't like it.
Is it true that RFK Jr. has been like deleting a bunch of old tweets where he attacks Donald Trump on all the things that he's now praising Donald Trump for? I don't know if he's actually deleting those tweets or if this is such a lazy psyop that he's not even deleting them and they're just being left up, you know?
And I mean this sincerely. Had he been allowed to enter the Democrat that they are for the country, and they would be sincere.
Wow, this is boring as shit. Is he just going to stand here the entire... Wait, hold on. RFK Jr. speaks at Trump rally full speech. This isn't RFK Jr. speaking. You might notice. He's just standing here like a plastic doll.
If I would
here we go.
talk to President Trump, and I said, of course. And about a few minutes later, I got a call from the president, and we talked. We had a very good talk, and he invited me to come see him the next day. And I went.
Incredible. I'm bored already. We're not doing this again. I don't want to school chat on my nutritional knowledge, which led to multiple people who claim to be nutritionists, and why would they lie, email me and say, you were so right, wow, you were so right. The discourse about processed versus organic food is actually really harmful to people's health because it's being like weaponized by the meat lobby. So people are like, yeah, man, you know what's really unhealthy? Vegan steaks, because they're hyper-processed or whatever, even though they have all the nutrients that you need to live. And you know what is healthy? A giant slab of fatty steak, because it's got like no alterations to it, you know? I'm not doing this again because I'm tired of winning. Yeah, anyway. The original goal, here's a massive one. Oh, God. Yeah, I guess they're just too lazy to delete it. President Trump scammed American workers. He promised to bring back manufacturing, raise wages, fix trade deals, close the carried interest loophole, help small farmers. But everything President Trump achieved were things the Republican machine wanted. We got a tax cut for Jeff Bezos to regulate... Yeah. You know, I think the original plan, my guess is that the original plan was RFK Jr. was supposed to remain a Democrat and stay on the ticket long enough that he could amass a real base of interest from Democratic voters, and then he would drop out of the primary or lose the primary to Joe Biden, now Kamala Harris, and then he would run as an independent and be a spoiler candidate. And my guess is that the goal was for him to be a Democrat for longer and for him to drop out never actually drop out, to be the spoiler candidate to the final day, basically. But they couldn't do that because he never shut up about COVID vaccines and Dr. Fauci and all of his blunders and missteps. And for that reason, he ended up pulling more support from Donald Trump, which numerous polls have showed that a majority of RFK Jr.'s support is coming from people spoiling for Donald Trump, you know, so he has to drop out now. You speak with a lot of confidence, Benjamin Gilbert Liff. That's a possibility, but I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. It's impossible to know what exactly. What is this? Oh yeah, okay, well technically this isn't incorrect because he hasn't joined Donald Trump on the ticket. You know, he's just endorsed him, which it's like kind of like a difference without a distinction, or a distinction without a difference, I guess, but whatever. Trending, Hawk Tua, only on X, the everything app. Yeah, anyway, I really do think the original plan was bungled, and I think a lot of that is just due to the fact that he's a crank, and he's not very smart, and he's very easy to manipulate, and possibly very prideful. I imagine he would be. He's literally a Kennedy. He's a member of one of the few real American aristocracies. That tweet is old? Yeah, I know. I've been getting some pretty direct info. You know I can't take that for granted, right, Benjamin? Like, I can't just go, oh yeah, Chatter told me, on stuff like that. Petty as shit. I fully believe he's petty as shit. Yeah, a Kennedy being proud incomprehensible. I can't believe the Kennedy curse spared this one. So yeah, I don't expect much to come of this. You think they're going to swap Vance for RFK? No. RFK is just a failed psyop. It didn't work out. I doubt this is going to have much of an effect in the election at all. It is funny, though. You know, some credit, it genuinely does seem like the Democrats wisened up to him really quick. You know? RFK Jr. was never treated as a serious member of the Democratic primary by anyone in the DNC, nor their aligned media outlets. And that was really smart. The fact that Kamala Harris never never met with him, the fact that most news agencies, except for Fox, of course, weren't really having him on. Very smart of them. Like, I guess he like reeked of grifter or of lunatic or of, deliberate spoiler from day one. So it's too obvious. Yeah. You mean Biden? Biden or Kamala. His own family also came out quick against him. Yeah, his whole family doesn't like him. He's like the craziest Kennedy. What a world to live in is the craziest Kennedy. The craziest Kennedy that we know of. All right, why have I been like this? What is this tweet from Kyle, the Kalinsky? I don't think Democrats understand it. Netanyahu's probably going to launch a big attack against Iran in October, specifically for Biden and Kamala, and draw them in for the election. Okay, maybe. Yeah, that could happen. That's not like completely impossible. The smart thing for Democrats to do, if something like that ends up happening, considering how like malicious and megalomaniacal Netanyahu is, would be for the Democrats to start preemptively positioning themselves on the side of like America first, we stand for peace. And if Netanyahu went ahead with that, they can say, look, Biden drew a red line on this a while ago. If you start invading other countries, we're not supporting you. You're on your own. And then position that against the Republicans and say the Republicans want to put boots on the ground to defend like endless war in the Middle East, Say, like, you could run with that pretty well. You could go like, Donald Trump delayed our withdrawal from Afghanistan until after he was president because he didn't want to deal with the consequences. And now the Republicans want to send our troops back to the Middle East to fight another country's war. Something like that. Now, obviously, I'm kind of like imagining a world where the Democrats aren't completely cucked on the Israel issue. So, I'm sort of like fantasizing about a timeline where they would do something cool. But yeah. Yeah, that would require a spine. That'd be nice. It's too late, man. We could have had a better position on this if the Democrats had been properly oppositional, right? I saw a tweet about this. It's the most correct thing I've ever seen in my life, If you take a look at polling on how afraid people are of immigration or how much people think immigration needs to be decreased or increased or whatever else, if you take a look at, yeah, here you go. It was from Hassan, the most correct thing he's ever said. Look, in your view, should immigration be kept at its present level, increased or decreased, where the dashed orange line is decreased and the solid blue line is increased? And as you can see, up until 2020, the sentiment was improving on like increasing immigration, or at the very least, like the amount people wanted to remove immigrants was decreasing. And then kablamo. What happened? Biden took office. And as Hassan points out completely correctly, throughout the Trump administration, there was constant counter-messaging from the Democrats against Trump's insane anti-immigrant lies. When Biden came into office, they stopped counter-messaging against that same reactionary lie. This is the direct result of that. And it's completely true. It's completely true. When Trump was in office, when Trump was the president, the Democrats were consistently saying like, no, this is overblown, this is xenophobic, so on and so forth. And then Biden took office and instantly he conceded to basically every point on the border. The migrant crime wave rhetoric came up and Democrats have done basically nothing to push back on that. Same with Israel, If Trump had been in office when October 7th happened, I guarantee you there would have been like a way forward for liberals to be like, well, I support Israel and I am a Zionist, but the bloodthirsty Trump and Netanyahu or da-da-da, there would have been something like that. But because Biden has like whole-handedly defended Netanyahu, now there's no liberal path forward to that position.